Newcastle United have announced their first signing of the summer, kind of. Well, we have 18-year-old Cordero, left winger from Malaga. Going to talk a little bit about him in this video and what our plans are with the player, what Paul Mitchell has said, and the likelihood that he will head straight back out on loan for the upcoming season. Jack Grealish linked again to Newcastle United yesterday evening as he's dropped from the Manchester City squad. That's right, Pep Guardiola really laying it in the hint of what he will be doing next season. And as Brighton ask for 70 million for João Pedro, are Newcastle looking at a free alternative? Yes, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you guys are all enjoying your week. As I say, interestingly enough, what have we got left? 2 days left of the transfer window. 1 day left. Because it closes. It closes for 10 days and then opens again. But Newcastle were able to get a transfer done in that early window. I'll be honest, it's not necessarily the one I wanted, and you know, who knows, maybe something else can happen later on today, tomorrow. Things are changing all the time, but we have confirmed our worst kept secret, to be honest. Malaga announced that he'd left ages ago, but Newcastle posted about 4 times this morning. The admin mustn't have been happy with his each time he posted it, kept doing it over and over. Antonio Cordero, the 18-year-old right-footed left winger from Malaga, has been scouted, I think, from a few different teams across the Premier League as well as other leagues. There was reports that he'd been up here visiting the training ground, that he'd met Eddie Howe. Newcastle have held off, and essentially he's not renewing his contract at the end of this June, and it officially has now completed his agreement that he will join Newcastle on the 1st of July. And Paul Mitchell has not waited around to make comment on the signing. He said, we're delighted to announce the signing of Cordero, who will join on the 1st of July following the expiry of his contract from Malaga. So it's a freebie. We've got to obviously have to pay his contract, but picking up a youngster like this without any cost, it's decent. You know, we want to see some big summer changes, big summer transfers for the first team this season, but it never hurts to continue to add. And who knows? I would like it if we can give him a chance this pre-season, see what he's got. You know, we don't know how many players we're going to bring in this summer. We don't know how many players we're going to let go of this summer. If he does well and there's an opportunity to join it with the squad, why not do it? But Paul Mitchell, as I say, has had his say, saying that he has Is this Paul Mitchell? Yes. Antonio is an exciting talent. We're delighted to bring him to Newcastle amidst interest in Spain and across Europe. He's got a lot of potential, and the next phase of his development will be for the club to select a loan move that will challenge him and build on his experience. So we haven't messed around there. Literally in the announcement, we've already said he's going out on loan. So maybe Eddie Howe's not getting the chance. I would like him to. I would like Eddie Howe to literally look at every player we've got. Under 21s, under 19s, under 18s. Don't necessarily take them all to Singapore, Japan, and wherever else we're going. But I would say to certainly have a look, unless it's because we've already agreed, probably not with Malaga, because they didn't seem best pleased that he was heading out the door. But maybe somewhere else we could take a look. So let me know your thoughts on Cordero signing for Newcastle. Are you happy about it, or are you not too fussed? Because really, you've got bigger priorities on your mind right now, which is the first team at Newcastle United. And a player that has been linked to us again was linked a few weeks ago. It's no... everybody knows that Jack Grealish is heading out of Man City this summer, or certainly seems that way. Well, Pep has definitely put the knife in now, as Jack Grealish has been left out of their Club World Cup squad. That's right, the teams who are taking part in this, that's why the window's closing for 10 days. It's all fairly weird, to be honest. But Jack Grealish ain't going with them. And because of that, the links are pointing back at Newcastle United. So you let me know your thoughts on Jack Grealish down in the comments below. The fee spoken on, well, there's two big factors to this. One of which is, could he leave on loan? And the reason the loan, as I pick up my notepad to double check this to make sure I get it right, the reason the loan is being touted is because Jack Grealish is on £300,000 a week. Yeah, gulp. Bearing in mind that Mbeumo was getting £250 at Manchester United and Newcastle were reportedly offering 120, 130. We are no way in hell going to offer 300 grand a week. Similar with the Kingsley Coman links. Again, another great player who, 28 years old. I mean, Jack Grealish is 29. So you're looking at players here who are probably making their last big move. Are probably not going to, or if they can, will not want to drop wages. But I just cannot see where Grealish would get 300 grand from. Where Newcastle come in is where there's an opportunity somewhere for a loan deal where we're only paying part of the wages. And I think if a loan deal is open, like a zero fee loan deal for Grealish, where we're literally just helping get some of the wages off the bill because they don't want to pay them anymore, I don't mind that. I think Grealish could definitely be an asset to the squad. He's Premier League proven. He hasn't had the greatest time at Man City since leaving Aston Villa, but when you start talking 43 million, they reckon is how much they would want if they sold him, and even if we did pay that fee, like 43 million, I just don't know where he'd fit into our team either, really. If he was going to play off the left, which I don't think he's particularly great at doing, we've got Gordon and Barnes. Really, his best position is kind of wandering around the middle. Could we try and fit him into one of the middle three? Maybe in games where we have a lot more of the ball, he could be more pushing, more number 10 behind Isak, but it's not really a position we play. I like the player in general. People are saying about, he's how will he get on with the players? I think he seems like a fairly canny lad. I think Eddie Howe will get his arm around him, bring him in with the squad, and I think if we're giving him a second chance at, Champions League and everything else, we can offer those kind of things. I don't see it as a bad one, but just it has to be right for us. I'm not going to pay him 300 grand a week. I don't really want to pay 43 million up front for a player whose position we don't really need. But if there's a loan option there at a reduced weekly wage, I don't mind it. But other teams are interested. Spurs are interested. Napoli are interested. Forest are interested. I wouldn't be surprised if Aston Villa were interested for him again as well. But yeah, Pep definitely making it clear to Grealish he's not going with them to the Club World Cup. I think he'll be on his way. But just where he's going to go, I don't know. And in terms of positions we do need, striker. Newcastle linked to João Pedro, but the fee they are asking for is not what I expected. That's right, reports are that Brighton wants 70 million for João Pedro. Honestly, I think this is, and without banging on about it, this is why the likes of kind of the Mbeumo signing early doors, look at what Manchester United have done with Cunha early doors. Brentford bringing in Callahan from Liverpool early doors, selling Flecken to Bayern Leverkusen. There's loads of stuff going on early here. Yes, we've got in good old Cordero from Malaga, who I'm hoping will be a future star for us one day down the line. But in terms of this season, the trouble is the longer things go on, and we're a weekend. We've got all of the summer. We've got loads of time. We'll have all the players lined up on the touchline, ready for this the first game of the season. So I'm not worried at all. But there is a Newcastle tax will exist. And because people know we're one of the few teams who don't have PSR issues, I'm hoping that will help us at the end of this June. PSR deadline is end of June. So all of a sudden, things will start coming out the woodwork. Things will start coming a lot quicker because teams are trying to flog players before they miss their PSR deadline and get charged, which we don't have to worry about. We're sat on the sidelines waiting in like this, ready for a team like Aston Villa with a Ramsey or a Rodgers, like an Everton, a Braithwaite, Southampton, Dibbling. There's teams there who will likely need to sell, who haven't really done it yet, and that's where we will step in. But in terms of João Pedro and Brighton asking for 70 million, I don't blame them. Like, it is what it is. He's a player that they already spent 30, 35 million on in the first place, and to just turn around to Newcastle and go, yeah, you can have him for 30. I mean, it's funny because he wants first team football, but he's not getting it at the minute. He's not getting. Danny Welbeck is getting more football than João Pedro is at Brighton. So if he wants his first team football, he could be waiting for a while. But that's not even the issue. The issue is Brighton are asking for lots and lots of money. So Newcastle are looking at other options. And one of those options, we've heard it before, we'll hear it again, and I'm still on the fence with it, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Contract runs out at the end of June. Newcastle could pick him up on a free. And that's what's being touted in the papers as of last night. Would you like to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin on a free? The thing for me is, we've got Isak. So although striker is a priority position for me, I think we need to bring somebody in. Callum Wilson's leaving. Asula's not getting the game time. I hope he gets more of it next season. We need to fill that gap. We need to fill that spot. We need to fill that Callum Wilson spot with a striker who doesn't mind and it's not game time. I think anyone will bring in. Like, look at Delap. He's got to Chelsea now. They're trying to sign Ekitike. Come on, Delap, sign for us. We'll give you all the game time you want. And then they're going and signing probably 2 more strikers this summer. So I hope, but yet again, how much money they offered him as well, who knows. But I think we would have given Delap loads of football. I think we'll give João Pedro loads of football. Look at Isak this season, whether he was injured or maybe having a bit of a dip in the game, having the chance to pull him off and give somebody else a chance. We just didn't have it. So I think whoever we bring in will give plenty of football to, but it's saying to them, oh, who's going to start first game of the season? Alexander Isak. So, and if you're going to a new team, you want that. Dominic Calvert-Lewin probably understand. I'm not saying give him the world, by the way. Don't give him a 5-year deal, 2-year deal on a moderate income to play that second fiddle role. And I'll tell you when I mind it and when I don't. I don't mind. I mind it when I don't like it. Is when we sign Dominic Calvert-Lewin on a free, and at the end of this summer we're going, that's the only person we brought in. Oh my God, that was terrible. If we bring in a new centre-back, a new right winger, a new goalkeeper, a new midfielder, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the striker, that I don't mind that. I think that's fair. I think that's good planning. Use the money in positions we actually need to spend it. Don't spend 70 million on a striker on João Pedro when Isak's behind. I mean, if we do it, I'll back Eddie Howe as to what he thinks is the right thing to do. But in terms of a free player in a position that isn't massive priority, I don't mind. And it is a bit of a gamble, but it's not to say that we can't put something in the contract that says, look, if you don't play at least 15 appearances, we're allowed to let you go at the end of the year. Give him a 2-year deal, but only 3 years. As long as you play at least 15 appearances year 1, we'll keep you for year 2. Same for into year 3. We can do these things. Why not? So let me know your thoughts down below on Newcastle's first signing of the summer, who will probably not play a game for at least a year, Cordero. But it's still exciting. Still hope to see him in the future, as we do with a few players. Let me know your thoughts on Jack Grealish as an option for Newcastle and DCL on a free. Thanks for watching, guys. That was a little bit of a quick one this morning as I'm rushing around and about to head out. So if you have enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe. If you haven't already, loads of videos coming out at the moment. As I say, the first summer transfer deadline is tomorrow. I don't even know when it is. It's this week. Either tomorrow or the day after, before it closes, and then it opens. Oh, yeah. Thoughts and comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.